welcome to day 2 of High School Star League's Grand Finals. I am your host, Avalie Broken Chopsticks May, coming to you live from the Rowland Heights Community Center in California, where high schoolers have flown in from across the country to compete for up to $30,000 in scholarship funding. All right, well, first up, we're going to have our StarCraft 2 semifinals match, along with the third place match, followed by the Hearthstone third place match, and then we're going to wrap up our day with our League of Legends semifinals. So without further ado, let's go ahead and meet our semifinalists. So each of our StarCraft 2 teams are going to consist of 2 players from each high school. So first up, let's meet our Oakton High School players. All right. So, while he's ruthless in game, this Terran player shows his creative side, and while he's when he's building birdhouses in his carpentry class. He will be attending Northern Virginia Community College in the fall. Let's hear it for Tyrant Jr. Yeah, let's go. Yeah. All right. I'd be careful for our second player from Oakton, because not only does he know how to destroy with his Protoss play, but he also knows both Kung Fu and Wushu. Let's hear it for OMG a Banana. All right, and next up is our Terran twins from Walnut High School. You may know him as the first place winner in last year's breakout tournament, but others know him as the wrestling stud who will be attending UC Riverside in the fall. Give it up for Intense! Good sportsmanship right here. All right, and our last player. He's a Taekwondo expert who is planning on studying computer science at Mount San Antonio College in the fall. Let's hear it for Pro Killer! This is true friendship right here. All right, break it up. Too friendly. You guys are fighting each other. All right. While our players go ahead and get their map vetoes set up, we're going to go shoot on over to the caster's desk with Draven and Damon.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I am Ryan Draven, joined me by Damon Filthy Rake. Thank you for coming in today. We have some great maps going on for you guys, some great teams playing. We have 2 best-of-5s and a best-of-7 going down. So for our first teams are going to be Walnut and Oakton. How are you going to be feeling about these maps?
Well, you know, the pool at the moment's a little bit interesting, so I think it's really going to come down to kind of the races themselves and what the vetoes wind up being. There's a lot of weird backdoor rocks on some of these maps that, you know, can lend themselves to abuse.
Yep, and with Oakton is actually our only Protoss in the semifinals going down tonight, so it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to face up against the Walnuts. Both players are Terran, so we'll see how it's going to go down. With some of the map vetoes, like you said before, are super favored in the Protoss, so we'll see if they get vetoed or not get vetoed. So I'm going to be interested to see how Intense is going to take this down. We both know Intense personally, and so with these maps, we are, you know, really excited to see these maps that go down. I'm excited for these maps.
Yeah, you know, it should be really interesting. I will, you know, with all these Terran players, we'll be really interested to see if, you know, OMG Banana can kind of learn, right? You know, he only has one matchup that he has to worry about. It's all going to be PvT for him. So, you know, is he going to be looking out for those mine drops, mine harass, things like that? But it does look like we have got our map list in here. So we're going to be playing on Cactus Valley, Terraform, Coda, Iron Fortress, and Moonlight Madness. Our vetoes were Bridgehead and Dash and Terminal. It's, you know, it's kind of interesting. I'm a little bit surprised to see Moonlight Madness not get vetoed. What do you think about that?
Well, it is going to be technically the 5th map. So like we said before, this is going to be a best-of-5 series. Let me try to get this out of the way for you guys. It is a best-of-5 series, so it actually could be ending at 3-0. So Moonlight Madness and Iron Fortress we may not even see it. With the first one, the Cactus Valley, the first choice, I personally have that vetoed map. I'm not a fan of it, but this is going to be a Terran versus Protoss, so it's going to be a super favorite Terran map, so I'm kind of excited to see how Intense is going to play on this. I do believe our first matchup will be Intense versus, we'll get in the map, get in the game and see before I make predictions about this. But the maps kind of make sense. I'm not really a huge fan of Iron Fortress. There's a lot of pathways in behind to your third base that I would have personally vetoed, but Moonlight Madness is going to be that kicker, but it is the 5th match, so we might not even see it.
Yeah, you know, I will be interested to see, you know, Cactus Valley is pretty drop friendly. Do you think that we're going to see a lot of that come out of our Terran players?
I definitely hope so. I know Intense is very known for it, and so it's going to be a lot of harass. At least that's what I'm predicting with Intense. So and Cactus Valley is definitely the map to do it on. So I'm just interested to see what kind of builds they're going to have. The format that we have is kind of a little different than most tournaments. It's going to be player 1 versus player 1. Then the second map is going to be player 2 versus player 2. Then the third map is going to be player 1 versus player 2 of the opposite team. Map 4 is going to be player 2 of the first team versus player 1 of the second team. And then fifth map, if it gets to it, both teams decide, or the winner, I believe the winner decides what player plays.
Yeah, so it's basically honestly just kind of round robin.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to think about it. Round robin format. Don't see it terribly often, but pretty interesting. It actually gives all of the players a chance to play with all of the other players, unless there's a fairly quick 3-0.
Yeah, and like what happened last year, we have a player that's going to play on the next semifinals, Jon Snow. He actually took out 2 teams from last year when it was by himself. He actually sat in the hot seat, went 4-0 to take the first series, defeat an entire team, and then did it again to a second team. So it was actually really awesome to see him play 9 games in a row as Zerg and just destroyed everyone. So yeah, I love this kind of format. It changes it up a bit. It's a little bit different than it's like a best of 3 1-on-1. There's best of 5 with 2 players involved on both teams. So it changes it up a little bit. I love that the High School Star League does this kind of formatting. Like I said before, it changes it up. Just unique play. I think all that's going to just progress into Legacy of the Void, which I'm super excited for. I know that we were playing some Archon mode yesterday and just dominating so hard with it. It was amazing.
Yep. Though of course, we're not quite in Legacy of the Void yet.
Yeah.
So this is obviously Heart of the Swarm games we're going to see here today.
Yeah.
Do you think that we're going to see any gimmicks from our single Protoss player?
Yes. I mean, if he's been following up on intense matches, I think he would know where to have those kind of gimmicks, what to do in certain maps. Definitely these a couple of these maps are very made for Protoss gimmicks, so I think we should see it if he has been following up on intense. Intense is has a lot of online matches that people can easily have been watching. So we'll just see what kind of plays we're going. So the game is starting. We'll see what first players we have going down for us right now. And our first map, like we said before, is going to be Cactus Valley. All right, well, there we go. We're going to hopefully switch that up for you guys. All right, so we get the first map in, and on Cactus Valley, we do see on spawning on our bottom left player is going to be Christopher Tyrant Jr. from Oakton High School, our blue Terran player.
And his opponent in the top right, in the red, is our Terran player, also from Walnut. It is Andrew Intense Pirelli.
So far, nothing too out of the ordinary. It is a TVT, which was what we were wondering if the Protoss was going to be the first player out from Oakton High School, but it is going to be Terran versus Terran on this map. How do you feel about with TVT on this map?
We're gonna hopefully, if this game lasts a little while and doesn't just end super quickly. This is a pretty big map, and with all of that airspace, there could be some really awesome multi-prong harass and drops. And I mean, really, TVT, man, a map like this really lets it shine, and you can see some of the really high-quality gameplay.
And we do see already, we're seeing 2 different, completely different builds. We do see Intense going with that early gas before barracks, but Tyrant Jr. going for that barracks before gas. So already we're just already at different builds. Which, like the early Reaper harass is definitely not a bad idea on this map. It's so big, you just want to get that scout off. You want to see what's coming at you before you have armies dropping in your base, because then you're just dead at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I'm expecting with that super early gas that Intense took, we're probably going to see a really quick factory and probably some Hellions come out, probably with a reactor. Just try to get in, get some economic damage done, and really help catapult him into that mid game.
Yeah, and again, Hellions, any kind of quick units on a huge map like this is just what you want. If you could get inside the mineral line, just roast even with 5 SCVs, it will do enough economic damage to pay off for those Hellions with that reactor. Like you said, we might see here in a second. Tyrant Jr. is going to get the correct scout off this time, so he knows exactly where Intense is. We do see that factory, like you said, coming down. So we might see a reactor on top of this factory to get some Hellions coming down.
Yep, absolutely. And really from here, it's just going to be kind of figuring out when players are going to expand. It's really going to kind of determine the pace of the game. If we see a expansion coming out relatively soon, we can expect probably a longer, more drawn-out macro game. But if they just really keep, getting down those factories, getting down, starport, more barracks, things like that, then it kind of implies that we're going to see a lot more aggression and possibly a much shorter game.
And we do see Intense taking that second gas. What do you make from that second gas? Do you think he's going to try to invest more into Hellions at this point, Hellbatch, or do you think he might go into like a Banshee play with?
So I think he is going for drops.
That's
with that starport coming down here.
Yeah. Which some Hellion drops, is a good way to do it. Take care of it. We don't see an expansion yet from either players, as I speak too soon. And there we go. So we do see Tyrant Jr. going for the more greed build of having that command center first, and then we see Intense coming down with those offensive plays.
Yeah, I'm a little bit actually surprised that we haven't seen a reactor. There we go. Finally, a reactor's coming down from Intense a little bit later.
Yep, and Intense hasn't scouted at all, so he doesn't know exactly where he's going with anything yet.
Oh my. That's not a reactor. That's a Tech Lab Banshees.
Well, that changes up just a little bit. So we'll see what kind of plays Intense is going to be able to come up from this. We thought it was going to be a Hellion drop, but apparently he's going to go into a Cloak Banshees kind of harass. Once he gets that scout off, we'll see what kind of damage he's going to do. We only have one command center out, so once those orbital scans get used, those Banshees will be able to just tear apart that SCV line.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's not a whole lot out just yet from Tyrant to defend this sort of thing. The Hellion has been spotted and pushed back a little bit, but there's no Raven coming out. There's a Viking. I mean, again, with some scans, that Viking is potentially going to be able to take care of that Banshee, but at this point, Tyrant Jr. doesn't show any sign of knowing that this exists. The real trick is going to be.
Yep, and so unfortunately,
the Hellions spotted.
Ooh. That clutch move, though. So the Hellions are going to get some kind of harassment. Now, the Widowmines right there is going to hit tap both. Just completely destroys that Hellion. So that's going to push that Hellion completely back. We do see the Banshee going across the field to try to get some kind of damage done. We do see a second orbital command down. So he's going to have at least 3 scans to take care of this Banshee. It's, may not do as much harassment as you would like, but it might do enough to pull an SUV line, get a couple kills.
Yep, Intense is following this up with a Raven. That's pretty interesting style he's going for here. Yeah. The Raven's great for if he was worried about his own Cloak Banshee coming in, but here we go. Cloak Banshee from Intense has shown up. It was spotted pretty immediately. Yep. 2 Vikings should just go.
He's going to have to drop a second scan. Yep, okay. So he drops 2 scans. That's great. I don't think he didn't get any kills out of that. The Viking was there prepared for that, so it just it does put him back just a little bit, so he can't drop the mules down. But he's still pretty significantly far ahead. He's got that Raven out. He's got a few Marines. The command center is finishing, so he will be able to establish a second base as well.
Yeah, Intense is a little bit up in supply. More importantly, he's up a couple of workers, which is the most important thing. But with the second command center landed and in place for Tyrant Jr., he'll be able to catch up pretty quickly while Intense is still getting his units in position. There is another Banshee coming out across the map, though.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how I feel about this, just because the Cloak Banshee play has already been spotted. There's enough Vikings out. There's a lot of Marines out. Orbital scans, maybe just more for harassment. Maybe try to pick off Hellions as they float across the map.
Yep. Well, I mean, and there's even there's a turret getting built now.
Yeah. So like I said before, these Banshees are going to be able to spot that. They know the Hellions are coming. Here comes the Vikings. He should be able to cloak it. And he's just going to follow us out with a scan and should be able to destroy that.
Oh, nice juke there.
Do you see Hellions going into the natural bit of Intense, but doesn't get far. Sees that he's taking it, sees that there's a Raven, sees there's a few Marines.
Yeah, and Intense honestly is pulling really far ahead in supply right now, over 30 ahead.
Yeah, so we do see Intense's army is moving across the map. However, Tyrant Jr. lost that SCV that was at the tower, so he does not see this coming. You do see one of the Widowmines in the front. We'll be able to have push back a little bit. So a couple Hellions moving across from Intense, or excuse me, from Tyrant Jr. That Banshee just pretty much gets stomped. And so now he sees his army, he sees this tank with it, sees a couple Ravens. Those Vikings are going to try to focus down the Raven, focus down the Banshee, but those Marines will be able to push back the Vikings.
A couple of auto turrets even. Actually, I really like that move.
Perfect tank position. He's just going to be able to focus down that bunker. There's no chance of saving it. He's going to push forward more with Marines. Those Vikings going to try to focus down that Banshee, but there's no scans. There goes a scan. They take down the Banshee. With those tanks, they're going to destroy the rest of the Vikings.
I honestly think that he's going to hold this. Ooh, maybe not.
Yep. So we do have a tank coming down from Tyrant Jr. He's just going to try to keep in the defensive position. Tyrant Jr. is going to down a base. There's no much he could do at that. He's pretty much going to be sieged into one base. I don't know what options he has of this. He's like, you know, Intense is up like double in supply. Only has 2 tanks, a few Marines.
Yeah, unfortunately, this tank is questionably positioned. Unfortunately, it's pretty aggressively placed.
Yep.
And with Intense continuing to march his army across the map, I would have to say that Tyrant Jr. is in a little bit of trouble right now.
Yep, we do see a 3rd base trying to be floated to a different mineral line from Tyrant Jr. I believe that's what he's doing in that corner. Or he just dropped a barracks, never mind. I thought he was trying to float a base in because he is down a base while Intense is on 2 bases. Intense could just sit here like this. Maybe take a 3rd base or just keep pushing forward.
And in fact, Intense is working on taking that 3rd. There is another command center being built by Tyrant Jr., so he knows, right? He knows that he needs that base.
So Intense is pushing up the lineup. He's going to completely destroy this wall. GG gets called. Intense takes game 1 very quickly. So that was an awesome first game from Intense and Tyrant Jr. We saw 2 different builds. We saw Cloak Banshee play, did get scouted. However, he was able to transition into tank Marines with that Raven as he saw the turrets go down. And that one push just kind of put the nail in the coffin for Tyrant Jr. As we stated before, he was down in supply almost the entire match. And towards the end, he was just half supply, and there's not much he could do. Lost his base. Kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah, I mean, Intense played that incredibly aggressively, but what's really impressive is, not only did he keep that aggression going the whole game, but he macroed behind it. He kept those units getting produced. He kept that economy going, so that eventually, right, just the little delays and the harassment that he did just kept turning his lead into a bigger and bigger lead, and eventually that just kind of snowballed and let him push through.
Yeah, one thing I really enjoy about StarCraft, it's like the little things that eventually add up to bigger things. So even though he did throw out a Cloak Banshee, it did get scanned. He had to use 2 scans for it. He had the Tyrant Jr. overcompensated and went a lot more Vikings than more defensive units. So by the time they landed, the tanks just murdered them. And so it was a great, even though the Banshee was completely out of play by that point, the cost to Tyrant Jr. of having like 6 Vikings didn't help him. He maybe took out the Raven, sure, but he had a lot of Intense had a lot of Marines and tanks behind that, where that's kind of where the Banshee kind of paid for itself.
Yep, absolutely. And it's that economic damage, honestly, just from using 2 scans. Using 2 scans doesn't seem like a big deal, but honestly, it really is. I mean, that's mules.
Yes.
Mules mine so much. You don't want to use that energy on those scans, especially not on 2 to pick off a single Banshee.
Yeah. And then he used it for the 2nd Banshee that Intense made. He had to use it twice when the Vikings were chasing him. Or I believe when he was chasing him, or when he juked him and did all that stuff. So it was just great play by Intense. Those Cloak Banshees are super annoying. I know when I play Zerg, I absolutely hate Cloak Banshees, but that's just because I'm in Diamond and can't keep up with these guys.
Well, and again, right, just forcing out that many Vikings as a response, right? That put his army. The army of Tyrant just is a much worse, much weaker army.
Yep.
Yes, he had a domination over the skies, but that doesn't do him any good if he's losing on the ground.
Yeah, when he's losing Marines and tanks.
Yeah, Vikings don't shoot down.
Yeah.
They're great units.
And they have to land. By the time they land, the Marines were just focusing down the Vikings, and while they're landing, those Vikings were being completely useless. And so it's just like we saw those Vikings. They tried to jump onto the tank. However, Intense had a 2nd tank in the back that was just destroying the Vikings that were trying to get in melee range of the 1st tank, and just at that point just sieged up and then just rushed the ramp, and there wasn't much you could do. He lost the tank, lost the expansion. Intense had a great lead, was getting a 3rd expansion during that whole time, and it was just kind of going downhill from there. So it was a great, like you said, aggressive play from Intense. So we are going to jump into game number 2. Like we said, the format's a little different, so now it's going to be player 2 versus player 2 from the same team. So we are going to be on Terraform. So we are going to see Pro Killer versus, oh my god, a banana. So this is going to be our Protoss player, and it's definitely not the Grand Finals Hearthstone. So it's going to be our Protoss player, oh my god, a banana from Oakton High School versus our other Terran player, Pro Killer from Walnut. So I'm really excited to see Protoss play. I know you're a Protoss player, and it's going to be on Terraform, so it's going to be even another great map. So we'll see what kind of actions get done for this.
And of course, I do want to take this moment, of course, to give a quick shout out to some of our sponsors, Twitch and Newegg, to start us off. Great companies who I'm really glad are able to support this event.
Twitch is very great company. But this is the platform that you guys are watching the matches on, so please, make sure you guys support all Twitch channels. So let's get into this map. So starting in our top left, we have our Oakton Protoss player. Oh my God, a banana.
And his opponent in the bottom right. It says intense, but it's really Pro Killer. It is Austin Pro Killer Lewis.
So Terraform is, I personally love this map. I just love how the hidden blind spots. I love the gold bases. I love how you can take the gold base on either side. So you can actually have a really sneaky gold base and have it never be scouted because there's a blind spot at the mineral lines. And then you can attack from the other side. I love the gold bases on this map. I'm super greedy and I take the gold base almost every time on this map.
Yeah, the thirds are really exposed on this map. It makes it very hard to move into those later transitions. So let's just talk about what we see the players doing here. See a pretty normal gateway gas timing out of OMG, a banana. The same can be said, of course, for Pro Killer with his barracks. Nothing too crazy, nothing proxied yet at this point.
Which is what we thought what it would take for the Protoss to get a couple games on. You do realize they are down a game. They need to just win one game to stay on an even keel. But if they lose this game, they're going to be down 2, and they have to win 3 in a row to take the series. So we'll see what kind of play he gets out. We see the cybernetic score, which so far everything's all standard from both players. We do see a Reaper coming out from Pro Killer, which is not too uncommon. So far everything's pretty standard.
Yep, of course, OMG Banana is doing the very smart building placements there, kind of forming a little wall. Basically, Protoss players do this to limit the movement of Reapers in and out of their base. You'd expect to see the similar thing happen on the other side of his base. Kind of traps him, and we do see that Reaper, just as is expected. Every Terran is really doing this. Oh, the eBay block just misses.
So he tries to go for an eBay block right when oh my God, Banana does get it, does drop the Nexus. So he does see it's an early expansion, so we'll see if that changes up anything. We do see a reactor going down, so we're probably going to see a couple more Marines just coming down just for defense reasons. We do see the Reaper in the base, not being able to do much. Is the Reaper? Yeah, there it goes. Okay. Reaper's going across the map. We do see... Okay, here goes.
Yeah, honestly, with the Mothership Core out, I believe it just probably finished. Should be able to shut this down. He'll get that probe, but that should really be all he can get.
Yep. He's not going to be able to get a scout off, unfortunately, but that's the Mothership Core has just perfect timing, and then with the Nexus timing as well. So far, he's trying to get a scout off, but he's not going to be able to do much with it. Oop.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with the Reaper healing, right, he's going to be able to juke in and out like that, take a couple of shots, jump back out, heal up, go in again, and eventually he can probably slip through. But we do see, oh man, a Twilight Council. What are you thinking? You think Blink or Dark Templar here?
On a smaller map like this, I would think Blink would be the better choice. However, like we said, when we were playing yesterday, we did win with Dark Templars, and even though they were scouted, so I just think with where they're at in the tournament, where they're at in the series, I would go with more of a Blinker play. Is my personal thought, but you're Protoss, you would...
I will agree here on this, actually, right? So you can blink onto the high ground of main pretty well as the Protoss, so it's really going to come down to probably bunker placement from Pro Killer, assuming he sees us coming. And there is the blink.
Yeah, we do see the blink, and like you said before, the main there's 2 access points to the main base from the low ground. We see one right there, and then one closer to the ramp, of course. So they can have some great harassment with the blink stalker. So we'll just see what kind of does. Like you said, there is going to need a lot of bunker stop. We do see Marauders coming out with concussive shells, so that's going to be great if he came in with charge lots.
Honestly, though, Marauders
just destroy stalkers.
Counter stalkers really well. Unfortunately, while he does have concussive shells, he has a Marauder. One and
Marauder.
He's not building anymore.
Correct. And we do see Stem going down, which is going to help. We do see a Factory, which Hellions aren't going to do much against Blink Stalkers.
Honestly, I would really like to see some Widow Mines.
Widow Mines is a good defensive. You do get good defensive unit, especially if he thinks there's going to be a Blinker site. He does see all the gateways, so he's going to see everything.
And he sees the Twilight.
And he saw the Twilight Council. He saw it researching. He saw it cooking something. So he knows it's going to be either charge lots. and he's pushing forward, which I think is a very ill-advised idea. The Blink is about to finish here shortly. He's going to try to get some kind of damage down. Mush, of course, is going to drop a Photon Overcharge, push this army back.
Honestly, though, like I kind of like this play. So he forced out the Photon Overcharge. He didn't really lose anything except a little bit of health on one unit. And this means that when the Blink Stalkers come, he's going to have that much less energy to use on his Mothership Core for a recall if he needs to get out of there.
Or the Time Warp to slow down the stem. So yeah, like you said, yeah, it's all great points. We do see a star part. We're probably going to see. We're going to start seeing some drops, because I don't think he would go a Banshee play on this map. But we'll see. The Stalkers are moving across the map. We always do see a proxy pylon. As well, he's not going to be able to jump into the main because he doesn't have vision of the high ground. He doesn't have his Mothership Core. His Mothership Core is staying back at the base for defensive reasons.
I'm a little bit surprised by that choice. I really would have expected him to bring the Mothership Core along. Again, right, get that high ground vision, be able to blink up into the main, blink down, go back into the natural. Right, this is really how you take out those Terran players.
We do see there are just Marines in there, so the Marines, they will be able to take down this bunker. The SCVs can get there in time. The SCVs are going to be able to heal it. Here comes the rest of the army, so he shouldn't have blinked them that far back. You know.
Honestly, no. See, I love this. You'll notice he only sent a handful of Stalkers. He's only warping in a couple of Stalkers. But while this is going on, he got a Robo. He's getting the Robo Bay. He's transitioning into Colossus tech. This is great. He's trying to force out an overreaction and too much defense. He's going to get a lot of damage done for really minimal losses.
So he's focusing on a couple SCVs, gets 3, gets 4, and pulls it back. Like you said before, this is loss of mining time. This is loss of mining itself because it's cost to repair the items. He's losing SCVs at the same time, and the whole time, Pro Killer is just overcompensating by getting a lot of Marines, which is the exact opposite of what he wants to do with the build that's coming out from Banana right now. So so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of plays. We do see the Pro Killer's army being pushed out, so he's going to go after the Blinkstalker army, but he's going to push forward. He's going to continue pushing forward. This Observer is going to see all of this.
Well, honestly, this is fine, right? There's a Colossus in production. He just needs to warp things in at home, and he has to be really careful not to lose this army. He needs those Stalkers when he gets back to his base. Now, thankfully, because he left his Mothership Core at home, right, he has that Photon Overcharge. It's right there. It's ready to go. Oh, God, he's trying to take the rocks out, but he was not quite in time. He's just trying to buy himself that little bit of time.
So we do see a stem coming forward. The Photon Overcharge does get dropped. He's probably going to jump all of the Marines in the medevacs, jump into the main. That's pretty much what I would do. But
but the first Colossus is out. Honestly, the window where Pro Killer was going to be able to do a lot of damage is rapidly closing.
He hasn't seen the Colossus yet, so he doesn't know what to expect. We see more gateways getting dropped down, so we're probably going to see maybe more Zealots being thrown in. A couple more Marauders need to be built. We do see the extended lands from Colossus being built. A couple more Colossus a Sentry just for that Guardian Shield. So, like I said, 6 more, Warpins from Zealots just try to get a surround on that army as well.
Yeah, and I love this Observer coverage that we're seeing from OMG Banana. He's not going to get dropped and not see it. He's going to see any army move outs. He knows exactly what's coming. This puts him in a great defensive position to get those upgrades, get that tech going. But, he's kind of pinned in his base a little bit. Oh, and here comes a drop.
Right, this is the drop that we were expecting to see. He is going to get scouted. He's going to land right on top of a building.
That observer misses it, but this pylon.
But
and
there are
those stalkers,
great.
Oh,
it almost gets it. Great defense. We knew, he knew it was coming. He knew something was coming. So we do see Banana's army, just trying to scout around a little bit. At this point, he should keep the stalkers at the base. But with this army that he has, the Zealots and Colossi, he could push forward and take out this army if the Pro Killer's army is not prepared.
And we should expect, honestly, to see OMG Banana try to secure third fairly soon. He's going to want to do that just because he should know that the third's coming. He's even scouting for it right now, though it's not there just yet.
Yeah, with this kind of play, when he does know that there's drop shipments on the play, with the third base that he's getting, the south position from Banana's the better play for Protoss, you think, on this map?
Yeah, I would personally go for that bottom map. Unfortunately, he sees this drop coming, but he just doesn't have anything to warp in to deal with it. His Stalkers are up here. They should be able to shut this down. Take out that medevac.
So it's just, he was able to spot it. He's going to focus on the pylon. He was able to get it, which, puts him down a little bit.
I mean, it supply blocks him. But meanwhile, that third base is being secured. It is at that south location. I like this location basically because if you take the more northern third, it's really indefensible, right? Your workers can be attacked from the inside.
Yep. We do see a Zealot there that's going to take apart all these SUVs on that third base from Pro Killer. Yep. And he's going to be able to delay it just a little bit. We do see a lot of Vikings to counter that Colossus play. Marauder's going to clean up the Zealot, but at least now he knows that that third base from Pro Killer is being taken, it is being established. So now it kind of puts the pressure on he needs to step up his game because now he's back on this even basis again with Pro Killer.
Yep, I love the Templar Archives coming down here. Now, personally, if I were in his shoes, I would be opting for Archons. However, honestly, I'd really expect that we'll probably actually see Storm come out. Because I assume that he has more than 0 APM.
Or 50.
Storm's pretty good, so.
So we do see a Zealot rush, and that's going to be really good. It's going to delay this base a lot more. It's going to focus that down. So we see Pro Killer's army going across the base.
Unfortunately, the Vikings are going to come in and get some free shots on those Colossus.
We do see him blink in, focus down those Vikings just a little bit more. They're going to focus down the Colossi.
This is a really great engagement.
Yep. Force field's a little bit kind of corners one army. That one Colossus is going to drop from those Vikings. That second Colossus is going to get focused down from the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, 2 Colossus have died already. Yep. I mean, another one has popped, but if he gets that third.
Yep. We do see Pro Killer's army rushing forward. Photon Overcharge is there, but he's not going to care. He's going to go push forward. He's going to try to focus down the rest of the Colossi. He's going to get that second Colossus. There's only one Colossi left on the field. Those Vikings are untouched.
This is a tough engagement, though. Yep. That army, unfortunately, is very weakened from stim. Doesn't have a lot of healing.
So it looks like he was
able
that
to Colossus is so dead.
Yep. He was able to clear the rest of the Vikings. He's going to try to focus down the rest of this army. Zealots come in. Hopefully focus down. No, doesn't get it. So this entire time, Banana was able to send a couple of Zealots to harass Pro Killer's third base. That kind of put him behind as well, while Banana's been on 3 bases this entire engagement. So we'll see what kind of plays come from this. We do see more Zealots getting rushed in. You do see the Templars coming in, so Storm's going straight into Archons, which is kind of what you thought he should have done.
Yeah, honestly, especially after that last engagement, Archons give him extra air damage against Vikings. Yep. Keep those Colossus alive, keep them doing damage. And just, they're pretty tanky, they can take a lot, and the little bit of splash that they do is really handy.
Yep, he hasn't seen any ghosts yet, so he knows he's not going to get EMP'd, so I think Archons was the better choice. I do like when they throw a couple Storms down and then merge, but, he just wants those tanks now. He wants to get that shield up.
He doesn't have Storm yet. Yep. I don't think he wants to spend the time trying to research it when he's, in such danger. The Vikings are coming in and are just, unfortunately,
focusing down
annihilating those Colossus, and now this is not a very strong army here.
Yeah, those Vikings came right in and just focused down the Colossus. We do see another Colossus out. He's going to take out all the Vikings, so there's going to be no more defense for this Colossus. The Colossus is going to rip apart this army. Viking does go up. It's going to get focused down by the Archons.
He needs to be careful, though.
Yep.
The army supply is very even, but this still could go either way. Pro Killer has a bigger army.
We do see the Storm is being researched, so he does want to get that AoE done. Just wants to get him split, wants to get him pushed back as much as possible. We do see some more Zealots being rushed in, but there's a Marine in that bunker that's just gonna.
He does push out a little bit here, tries to push back this army, takes down those destructible rocks. It's actually just kind of handy. It's going to buy him a little bit of time for future engagements. Though it looks like really he wants to be the aggressor near. He's trying to move out.
And that's just annoying having that bunker that's just burning down. That Zealot just keeps rushing in, trying to do harassment, trying to get him distracted, trying to pull that army away. At this point, would it be the better time to try to establish a fourth? As fourth is not possible on this map.
So, I mean, in OMG Banana's position, I would definitely try to take a fourth. In Pro Killer's position, he's going to have a pretty hard time, just because his army is smaller. He's finally getting caught up on that economy, but the Protoss player is being very aggressive. So, especially with those Zealot run-bys.
Yeah, and those Zealot harassment, it's just, even if he's not doing any kind of damage, it's just time that Pro Killer has to take away from focusing on his army to stopping that fight. And he only has 1 Marine in that bunker, and that's what's stopping the Zealots run-by. So we do see a couple of drops coming in. We see a lot of Marauder counts just to counter the Stalkers. So we'll see if that helps in the end when he does have those Archons out. He does have a grip of charge. I don't think he has charge a lot yet, but he does have the Zealots, a lot of Zealots in his army. Those 2. That drop is unscouted at the moment. That's going to be right in the main.
Oh, this is going to be rough. He just did a warp in.
Yeah.
Does he have anything that he can use to defend back home.
I don't know where his mothership core is, but this would be a great time to have a mothership.
Oh, he's going to target fire. Oh, that's a great choice. He's going to prevent any more Colossus from coming out. There's the Photon Overcharge.
He's focused down on that cannon. We do see...
Oh, it's a great
good storm gets off. Second one gets off because it's a little bit damaged, but then Marauders have a lot of health, a lot of armor. Looks like he should be able to clean this up.
He needs to be careful with those Templar, though. They're wandering forward.
Yep. So he split the army in half. He split half his army. He was able to push down Proko's entire army.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, at this point, OMG Banana is up 40 supply. A lot of that in army. He's got really good upgrades. So 3-3 is underway for Pro Killer here.
Yeah, which is I'm not too sure what Banana has.
I think he's at like 2-1-1 or 2-2-1. He did get the shield upgrade, I remember. Yeah, 2-1-1.
Yeah, with the shield upgrade when you have Archons is probably the best thing to do. All right, so we do see the two going down for the melee weapons for our Protoss players. So yeah, we have that Immortal coming out, so that's going to help with the upgrades. But with that 3-3 Bio Army coming down from Pro Killer, it's going to be really hard to really stop it. At that point, they're going to melt everything.
Man, you know, this is really interesting. There's an old saying among the Protoss brethren, when behind Dark Shrine. But OMG Banana, you're not behind. You're ahead. You probably don't...
But
I mean,
it will be good for
like
harassment if he's doing great harassment with Zealot run by.
One, honestly, right, so a couple of DTs mixed with your army can actually really turn the tides of battle, because the Terran player is probably not going to scan the army, and those DTs do so much damage. Oh, this is great. I love this movement here from OMG Banana. He's moving his army north. Basically, that his pylon up at the north got scouted, got sniped. So he can just move in with this army, completely destroy this base.
Yep. So we do
and he knows the army's on the other side.
Yep. So Pro Killer's army, okay, so Pro Killer army does go back. We do see Banana's fourth base being established. He takes down Pro Killer's third base, or excuse me, fourth base. So Pro Killer's back on 3 bases. His first base is completely mined out, so he's kind of almost on 2 bases, while Banana's taking his fourth and established his fourth. So I'm not, you know, 3-3 is done for Pro Killer. We do see a command center being rebuilt again. We do see Immortals coming out to upgrade more Stalkers.
Ooh.
He does see that Warpaint, does see it's more Stalkers, but we do see 3 Colossi in this mix. Those Archons are in the back. He needs those Archons in the front to take some of the damage. We do see, we're going to see a Storm on the north side as well.
Oh, it's
great north hit. There's no medevacs in this army anymore, so this STEM army is just going to get annihilated. We do see the Colossi just completely melting that one army that's to the north, or excuse me, to the south. It does focus down that Colossi. The Zealots coming in. They have charge now, but he just melted that army.
Yeah.
That was a poor engagement, lost all his medevacs. He stemmed too many times, got a storm on top of it. And now it looks like Bananas is going to push to win because he almost tripled the army supply at this point.
Yeah, you know, so the positioning was great from Pro Killer, right? He split his army, he was flanking, he was going to have a nice, you know, get a lot of surface area on OMG Banana's army, but OMG's Banana's army is so good. He's got that storm, he's got those Immortals, he's got those charge lots. And he's got those Archons, right? Just, it's really hard to crack.
Yep. And we do see the third base from Pro Killer being destroyed. At this point, he's mining from one base, and GG gets called once he lost all that his economy was down. So it was great play. It was amazing fights toward the end of that. That was awesome. We just saw some great, once he got the storm in for those High Templars, that kind of changes it up. He lost all his medevacs. He stemmed too many times, and unfortunately, he got his army melted by this Colossi. Even though he went a lot of Vikings at the first couple fights, he was able to stop the Colossi, but he wasn't able to continue stopping the Colossi. He did snipe the robotics facility. It just got rebuilt again, got 4 more Colossi out, wasn't able to do much after that.
Yeah, you know, this actually was also really exciting because this ties up the series so far now. Each team has won a map.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and it puts more pressure back on. Now we're going to see the, I believe with the format, it's going to be player...
I think we're going to see Intense versus Banana.
Correct.
I think.
Yeah, going from the format like we were trying to explain earlier, it's player 1 of team 1 versus player 1 of team 2. Anyways, so it is going to be Intense, the actual Intense, because last game was Proco playing on Intense's account. So it's going to be Intense versus Banana, the Protoss we just saw. And so I'm super excited to see Intense's play against a Protoss player. So it's going to be on Coda, which is one of my favorite maps. This map pool.
I'm getting strange looks from Intense, who seems to be telling me that he might not be playing next.
Oh well, fine.
Go and ruin the format for us here, Intense. But in any event, we're going to see some awesome games coming up here still. We've actually, that last game was just so good.
Yeah, I enjoyed the difference between Protoss and Terran, and like you probably play Protoss a lot, and so you kind of knew what exactly you would do. And so we saw Archons before Storm, and it seemed like the Storm was what changed the game. Once he lost those medevacs and stemmed too many times, the Storm was just annihilated. Even though that bio army was 3 of 3, didn't do much against those Storms.
Yeah, it's those Archons were really clutch to keep him alive long enough for Storm to come out. It's not a common tactic, but it's one that I really love.
Yep. So on our third map, Coda, we do see it is going to be Pro Killer under the Intense tag, spawning in our bottom right corner, the Red Terran Pro Killer.
And his opponent in the top left, using the unconventional strategy of playing on his own account. It is the Blue Terran Tyrant Jr. So, I mean, I do just want to keep taking these little opportunities again, right? Keep thanking our sponsors who are really awesome. MSI and Rockhat, really great companies helping make events like this possible.
Yep, the players are playing with the MSI laptops, which is amazing gaming rigs to play on. It's super portable. I believe you have one as well that you're able to play on as well, and so it's just great gaming laptops. And of course the Rockhat paraphernalia, the mice, the keyboards, the headsets, everything is just super awesome from these guys. So it's a great thanks to them for being able to provide it for our players. And part of the prize pool for our players, not only do they get scholarships, they get Rockhat gear. Like, who wouldn't want to walk away with free keyboards? Not to mention Rocket's amazing keyboard.
All right, so taking a quick look at what's going on here, we do have from Tyrant Jr. A barracks and his gas coming down. It looks like wow, Pro Killer went gas first, so I do expect we're going to see him do something very similar to what Intense did in that first game, probably rushing for that factory and getting out those higher tech units.
Yeah, and coming from the second game that we just saw when it was Pro Killer versus Banana, who is a Protoss player, now it's Pro Killer versus a Terran. So it's going to be TVT on this map, and I love this map. I love how small it is. I just love how it, generally it's 2 bases. It's not really long matches because it's so small that you lose all your bases because it's so close to the other person's base. And as Zerg, I'm able to spread creep pretty much up to their main, like by 10 minutes. I enjoy this map, so I'm excited to see what kind of play. I don't think we're going to see that many drops. I think we're going to see, personally, I think we're going to see a few, bio versus bio and just get a great, mass bio ball going on both sides. So that's kind of my prediction for it, but I'm calling it too early.
Yeah, so we do see quick Marine come out, of course, from Tyrant Jr., followed up by his factory. Pro Killer did also get his factory down a bit earlier. The flip side, of course, is that the orbital command is much faster for Tyrant Jr., so he's going to have those mules much faster.
And I don't know if we'll see the intense, Banshee play from game 1 that Pro Killer is going to try to mimic it. Just to try to, we said before from game 1, try to use those scans, use that energy so the mules don't get dropped. Because that, so he's used scans, Lost Vikings, Maiden Vikings, you just put them behind so far, you don't necessarily think about it when you're playing, but...
There's that starport.
Yep. I mean, he is raking up on this 2 gas, so he wants that gas intake, he wants to get a couple Banshees out. If he's able to get...
We really just need to watch though. Watch for the add-on. See what comes. It does. Are we going to see a reactor, or are we going to see Hellions coming out here from Pro Killer? Interesting choice. Tyrant is now getting his own starport out and going for a pretty fast expansion.
Yeah,
there it is. Look at that. There's the tech lab.
Yep. So we saw the tech lab being built. We do see Hellions out just to do some kind of harassment. And we'll see if we're going to get Banshee Cloak started. And there it goes. So we are going to see pretty much a mimic build from Intense from game 1. Like we said before, this is not Intense playing. This is Pro Killer playing on Intense's account for whatever reason, because they're friends. I don't know. But
technical difficulties are why. But yeah, see, my concern here is that in game 1, Intense did this build against this player.
Yep. But he was successful with it.
He was successful with it, but you have to think that Tyrant is going to be going, right? I just saw this, but yeah, I know he has no energy.
He doesn't have enough energy for you. you know, if
But
he
he's got some time. He's gonna have a second command center, which may be an orbital by then. He will probably have at least a scan, but I don't know if he's gonna have multiple. The Hellions 2-on-1, of course, does not end well for the one. Going to retreat here. Oh god, the Banshee gets spotted.
Banshee gets spotted, which is fine. He doesn't have...
Is he continuing cloak, however, or is he going to cancel it? He's leaving.
Might as well keep it. I mean, it's so close to finishing. He does get the Raven. It's pretty much a similar build that Intense played during Game 1 against the same player, like you said before. We're going to jump back over to Tyrant Jr.'s map. We do see he's going to have enough energy. He's going to have at least 2 scans. But if he's able to scout it, draw out a scan on one of them, he might be able to take both scans out. So he's going to cloak right here.
He throws down the cloak.
I think he's just going to follow him around, trying to burn out the energy, not necessarily burn out the scan.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a good job, right? He's not being overeager. He's not freaking out. He's not throwing down that scan that he doesn't really need to. He knows the Vikings will zone it out pretty well.
Yeah. We do see a Widowmine coming down, which is going to be awesome, because as soon as that Banshee gets uncloaked, that Widowmine's going to launch at it and take it out.
There's a turret now in the mineral line. Like, he's totally fine.
Yeah.
See, and this was kind of what I was worried about. This did not get even the minimal amount of damage done that it did in the first game. Now this will be good. He might actually get a couple of SCVs here if he's... Yeah, look at that. He got 2 SCVs. That's great.
So he ran out of energy, which is what the Vikings were going to do. He's going to follow him around until he ran out of energy, and now he can't cloak.
Yep.
And that Banshee's going to be gone in the next hit. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he got 2 SCVs. Is that really worth it?
At this point,
Cloak's pretty expensive.
Cloak is pretty expensive. He was able to stop a little bit of mining time because the SCVs did get pulled. Forced him to throw out a couple Vikings, which is not that much minerals. It kind of helped, but it looks like that very similar build from Pro Killer that Intense did in Game 1.
Yep, scan going down from Tyrant Jr. Sees Intense taking this base. Doesn't really know what the army composition looks like yet, though. I mean, he has to be assuming, though, based on that first game, that it's something pretty similar.
Yep, so he does get a couple more Vikings. I think probably just to counter maybe more Banshees. We do see...
Tank drop. What?
So what is it, Wings of Liberty? So we're going to see a tank drop. It's not going to be scouted unless he runs right into that floating barracks.
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm worried about. That barracks is really well placed to spot this sort of thing.
So we'll see where it goes. Yeah, he's going to fly right into it. So it's going to get scouted. It's going to get stopped because there's going to be 3 Vikings that's going to find
there's a lot of forces right there, if I remember correctly. So.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, there it goes. Oh. So he's going to siege up the tanks.
He completely lost that one almost immediately.
Yep. So he's able to focus on the army. Even though the SUVs did get pulled, he was able to focus on the army and maybe just do a couple more damage here. But by the time it ends siege, he was able to destroy the army, though. However, he lost that entire medevac full of Marines, which would have helped sustain that fight.
2 medevacs, 2 tanks, 8 Marines.
For a couple of Hellions.
I mean, he's up in supply, right? He's up 10 workers, actually. That really is going to kind of tell the story of this game here. That much of a worker deficit just means that Pro Killer is going to be able to build so many more units. 3 factories coming down here from Tyrant Jr.
What do you make of that? What, a Hellbat sent to Thor?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a big mech play. Oh man, mech is scary.
Yeah, mech is ridiculously scary.
The real question is, of course, does Pro Killer recognize what's coming?
Well, we do see a couple scans. He does see more Vikings. Does see the tanks. I don't think he knows that there's 3 factories in place. We don't see an armory, so we don't see any upgrades yet from this mech army. But we do see another reactor, so we do see a drop coming from Tyrant Jr., and that's completely unscouted. So I think it might get more damage. And the army is completely out of position for this drop.
Is there anything back home?
This Hellion, she's just going to do a lot of economical damage right now.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully they're not Blue Flame. The SCVs get pulled pretty quickly. Oh, but man, look at this army.
It was completely unscouted at that point. So the army doesn't get pulled. He will be able to take those Marines, no problem.
There is a tank up here as well, but I don't know where it's... Here it comes. You should clean this up, and I mean, this army...
I wonder if he's going to try to do that elevator drop thing that you do. That you put him close to the cliff, put 1 siege tank in that cliff area. Yeah, he's going to focus down that Raven. I don't know if that Raven's going to do any more. Oh, he's going to try to put the turrets down. He's going to get one off, and then he's going to get focused down by the Viking. Okay,
he got all 3 down, and he's just stimming up, running forward. He's going to snipe these tanks, and honestly, with those tanks gone, that was the backbone of Tyrant's army. Now, he does have a couple of tanks still on the high ground, but he's unsieging and moving them. This is going to be really difficult to hold.
Yep, so we have 3 tanks on the high ground. The SUVs are there ready to repair it, but it puts him down a complete base. So he might be able to defend this a little bit more, but all he has to do is just stem or just boost up that Marine armies and just drop them on the tanks.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what I'd love to see from Pro Killer is basically just parade push, right? Just stream his army across the map, keep those forces coming, keep him pinned back, and use that aggression to secure his own third.
Yep. So we do see 2 tanks sieged up and 1 not sieged up, so he won't be able to do that pickup. So we do see the 3rd tank being sieged. He's going to destroy that tank that's on that ramp. And the Vikings destroy them. So he was able to stop this, but at what cost? Oh, and he lost the tank that was destroying that one on the ramp. So
that was fantastic. I loved that play.
So the turrets are still down. So I don't know why he's running down. Those turrets are still in place. They're going to destroy all this army.
Yeah, auto turrets. It's funny, for a little bit of energy, those things have a lot of life and can dish out a lot of damage.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how much damage he did with those turrets alone, but he was able to stop a little of those, kill a couple of SCV kills. We do see a command center being dropped again, so he's able to reestablish his 2nd base. However, Pro Killer is just trying to establish his 3rd base. We do see a small push coming out, maybe like a counter push, but it's not going to do much. He gets stopped really quickly. So we do see an armory getting down. We do see a +1 upgrade to the range weapons for our mech army, so the tanks are going to do a little bit more damage, but it's far away, and there's not that much defense left.
Yeah, Tyrant Jr., unfortunately, he's down in workers, he's down in army supply, he's going to have a tough time here. Theoretically, Mech is a much more efficient army. If he can hit that critical mass, his army is going to be absolutely unstoppable. The problem is, Mech, you have to get to that place, right? You have to get those bases secured. You really need 3 at least to get that economy going so that you can get all those units and just get that giant death unstoppable force, right?
I keep hearing scans going off, and I have no idea who's doing the scanning. I just know the scans are going like this. That's all I heard throughout the entire 30 seconds. So I think both players know either his army at this point. I have no idea who's doing the scans. So we do see a drop coming in. There's going to be a Widowmine that's going to hit it. Oh, that's such a great place Widowmine. Oh, Lance hits the medevac, but doesn't do that much damage, and I think this is going to be the end of it. It's going to pull his entire army from the defensive and onto his main, while
that siege tank is just, going to do so much damage while stuff moves forward. He should stim forward and pick off that tank.
Yep, and we do see Pro Killer's second half of his army pushing up the natural, and this is going to be GG. There's no what he's doing. He's got to unseat these tanks.
He's going to stim forward to try to snipe these tanks.
Yep. He's able to get 2 of 3. GG gets called from Tyrant Jr. and 2-1 series go to Pro Killer with that great Terran play with the mech army. So it's that was really awesome. Almost a similar build from what Intense did in Game 1. However, it was just slightly different. The Banshee play didn't go as well as you liked. However, he did push forward the Ravens. Those turrets did a lot of damage. Was able to take out a lot of tanks. And just sieged up, took the 2nd base. And that was kind of it. Had 2 drops at the same time. That was a great play.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. Pro Killer really kind of took what, watched Game 1, took Intense's build, and kind of played with it a little bit, right? It's like, all right, cool. I didn't get the damage done that Intense did, but, I still have this great infrastructure that I can use to, do a Marine tank push with just a Raven sprinkled in for a little bit of flavor and its own, Banshee detection if you needed it. And just really focused on that macro and that economy. Yeah,
and it was interesting as we saw from Tyrant Jr. that he was building so many factories. We thought it was going to be a bigger mech play, but he went tanks, and then he lost all the tanks. All he had to do was just boost the medevacs, drop a lot of Marines on the tanks, and completely make them useless because they're in siege mode. And it took so long to get out of siege mode, and it's kind of I probably would have went maybe more Thors or something other than tanks.
But I mean, in TVT, it's really hard to do that, but it does sound like we're going to go to a quick break here.
And so before we go to a quick break, again, we just want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors that have been helping out so much. Just want to make this a great list for you guys. We have Twitch, TV, which is what you guys are watching the tournament on. We have Newegg, which sells amazing computer parts. MSI, which provided all the laptops for all the players to play on. They're great laptops. They're really portable. RoyalCap providing all the paraphernalia, the keyboards, the mice, the headsets, everything for their guys. Jinx Apparel provided a lot of t-shirts. We have Loot Crate. Tespo is a huge supporter of the Collegiate League for the StarCraft players, League of Legends players, Hearthstone players, and of course the LA County Parks and Recreational Division for providing the Roland Heights Community Center for us to play. And so we want to thank everyone for who's been participating. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have more action from the grand finals here at the High School Star League 2015.
Is anyone there? Oh, hi.
welcome back, everyone. We're at the grand finals for the StarCraft 2 High School Star League here in sunny California at the Rolling Heights Community Center. We just had half of our first semifinals. We're going to go into game number 4 of our semifinals. We have Walnut High School versus Oakton High School. We do have, so let's see what player we're going to have. We're going to have Andrew Intense for the Walnut High School versus, I believe he's going to be against, but who's he playing against?
Playing against OMG, a Banana.
Banana, the Protoss player. Yes, so it's going to be awesome to see Intense versus a Protoss player. It's going to be exciting to see what kind of builds he's going to come out. It is going to be on Iron Fortress, one of the larger maps in this map pool. So I'm excited to see what he's going to pull down from this. So spawning in our top right corner, it is our red Terran player from Sidestorm Gaming. It is Intense.
And his opponent in the bottom right corner. He's in blue. He's named after a fruit. It is OMG, a Banana.
So how are you feeling? You're a Protoss player. How are you feeling on this map? Do you have this normally vetoed? Do you play on it?
I actually, honestly, I love this map. You know, it's a little bit Terran favored due to drops, but you know, as Protoss, it's not terrible to secure a third, and that's really in PvT kind of the key.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I would have this when I play Zerg. I'm not too huge fan of all the different pathway to your third, like you were saying. It's a little bit harder for me to defend, but like with all the drops are going to come down from Intense. With the spawns that they're at, it's just going to be a little bit easier for Banana to defend because he's going to have more time to react to it because he's going to only go down to the south as opposed to cross spawns makes it like kind of a wider drop area. With this one, you only come down from the top, unless he like completely whips it around the entire map, which very possibly he can do.
Yep. No, I mean, honestly, at this point, we're not seeing anything, again, out of the ordinary. OMG Bananas continuing to do kind of the traditional Protoss wall for dealing with those Reapers. We do see a quick scout coming here from Intense. Is he scouting in the right direction? No, he is not.
Unfortunately for him, he's going to find it at the last possible time to see it. So
maybe, yeah, nope. He is stopping in the middle, of course, to get that quick check on the watchtower, but it's not really going to show him anything. So,
yeah. So we'll also like to point out that Intense from the Walnut High School, they are up 2-1 in the series. It is a best of 5. So all Intense has to do is win this map, and they go to the finals. So all the pressure's on for the Oakton High School for oh my god, a Banana to keep it on, to keep the series 2-2. So we'll see if he can keep it alive, keep the dream alive. But all the pressure's on him right now.
Yep, there is a Reaper popping out here from Intense. There's a Zealot. There we go. It was actually just canceled. Basically, OMG Banana was building that early Zealot just in case of an eBay block. You get that Zealot out, or at least you get that Zealot started. Send your probe down. If you see no eBay, cancel the Zealot, get your money back, throw it down the base. But if the eBay's there, the Zealot's there to do that all-important damage.
Yep, so we do see a scout coming down from Oh My God Banana, but it does get stopped by the Reaper. So now he knows he's spawning. He spawned in the south position. We do see a Muslim Corp is going to be able to stop this Reaper from doing any kind of more damage. But you know, he did lose that early scout. We do see that there is a Nexus first, so the Reaper gets a decent scout off, but he's not going to be able to take down that building. We do see, he might see the Cybernetics core cooking, so he might know that it is going to be a warp gate being researched in it, so he should be able to plan accordingly. We might see a couple more gateways getting dropped. So we do see a Stalker being built, so I don't know if he's going to go for blink play or just early warp gate harass. What would you do in this point being in the...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, right, this is you always get a Stalker here.
Yep.
Right, you want that Stalker just to help push back Reapers and scout for drops. He's going for a Robo follow-up. He's doing, man, this is my build, honestly, right? This is very classic. He's probably going to do what we saw him do last game. He's going to get a lot of observers, get a lot of map vision. He's going to throw down a forge, get those upgrades going, and wow, but man, that Reaper just saw absolutely everything. Yep. That's fantastic, and he's even going to get away. So. Yep. That Reaper lives to fight another day.
Yeah, we were talking about the games yesterday, and you mentioned with the observers, if you actually having 3 or 4 observers on the map, that helps. And we saw in Oakton's last game, or excuse me, 2 games ago, with Oh My God Banana, he had, I think, 4 or 5 observers on Terraform and just had all vision of it. So he knew exactly where Pro Killer's army was going, and all that stuff. So it helps out tremendously having multiple Reapers. We do see a Widow Mine that's not going to be able to do much, but it's great defensive as Zealot tries to run by. We do see an Immortal. Is he going for maybe like Mortal drops?
So, I mean, there's kind of an old school Immortal Sentry push. You get like 2 Immortals, you can bust down a bunker that's in the front, you use force fields to keep any repairs from happening. You can do a lot of damage. It's kind of fallen out of favor. I don't think I've seen anybody do this in a while, but it used to be a really strong build.
Without like we said, haven't seen it in a long time, do you think maybe Intense hasn't seen it in a long time? Do you think this is a great build to throw an old school build?
So I do like it. The problem is Intense is moving across the map, and the gateways for OMG and Banana aren't done.
Yep.
So Intense is going to show up. He's going to see this, and he's going to have an opportunity to put some pressure on, see what's coming, and react appropriately.
Yep, and he doesn't know this is coming. So him pushing out right now, he's going to lose all these Stalkers because he doesn't have the
It's a great Guardian Shield.
Yep. But he doesn't have a Photon Overcharge with this army, so he's going to burrow this Widow Mine. He's not going to see. He's going to actually take out one of the sentries. Yep.
Oh, both sentries.
Oh, nice. So he loses that Guardian Shield. The Immortal's coming is just going to annihilate this army. He's going to focus on the Stalker. Or he's actually going to focus on the Immortal. Immortal's going to get pushed away. The second Widow Mine gets dropped, takes out the second Stalker. So there's only 2 Immortals left in this army. That was kind of a good push.
Yeah, but one Immortal's almost dead.
Yeah. He pushed away from this base. I would have maybe just waited when he saw the army being pushed, PP. So we do just get a pause coming down from Oh My God Banana. I don't know if it's...
Mouse sensitivity issues, no worries. So we'll just give him a moment here to get sorted out. So, I mean, what do you think so far about that initial push that we saw here?
Personally, if I was Oh My God Banana, I would just wait. If I saw a push come out, I would just pull back a little bit. I had that choke point. I could have force field, make the army a little bit harder. Photon Overcharge if I need to. He did kind of lose a little bit more than he probably should have with those Widow Mines, but it's could have been part of his plan. So we are going to jump right back into the game. Just mounts issues, not a problem, happens.
Yeah, and Intense, of course, throwing down those really fast emergency bunkers. He knows these Immortals are coming.
Yep.
Oh, this is great. He's doing a little mine drop. Oh, that one doesn't quite make it in time. But he should get his other mine without any real issues. The real trick is, of course, these Immortals have shown up, and they're trying to stop this from getting down.
Yep. So the Widow Mine does get down. I don't know what kind of damage he's going to be able to do.
He's got a tank out, and Immortals are obviously really good against tanks. 4 kills on this first mine. So this is great. He needs to get... There we go. He's got guys in all of his bunkers. The tank, unfortunately, was taken out pretty quickly by his Immortals. This is actually going to be a tough hold, I think.
Yep. He doesn't have any more sentries with the armor, so he can't do that force field block that he does with the SCVs. All the SCVs did get pulled, so there's only 1 bunker left, however, so he's just trying to repair it. We do see the tank on the higher ground is going to try to destroy this entire army.
The problem is the tank from the high ground can't hit that much of the army. Yep. He's doing some good damage.
Yep. The Zealots are in there, just focus down that bunker, focus down the SCVs. A lot of SCVs are dying. The Immortals are just... they're just doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, Immortals are really good. Yeah. Unfortunately, Intense has done a really good job pushing this back. The supply is pretty even. Intense is up in workers. I think that mine is still actually back at the base there. Oh no, it did. It looks like it did get cleaned up.
By something. Or it got moved. I don't know. We do see another fight going down over at Intense's base. He does take out the bunker with the force field thing that you said that you block the SUVs and pushes them away from the bunker, and then they're unable to repair it. So he doesn't have any bunkers for this. He does have that 1 tank, so...
He needs to get resieged really quickly.
Yep. So he just goes balls
He needs
to the wall.
focus down those Immortals.
Yep. He gets 1 Immortal down. Takes
Both Immortals are dead.
But the tank, one of the tanks did drop as well. So we do see that 1 tank in the back, that clutch
Yeah, but
tank.
honestly, right? Intense is in a great position. But can stay alive really more than anything. But Intense now can take a third, which he's working on doing. He's up 20 supply. He's up in workers. He's up in army.
So we do see an observer coming down from Banana that sees this entire army, which, like we know, Banana's known for having his observers. We're probably going to see a scan.
Yeah, I think Intense saw that. He knows his army got spotted, which is just kind of why he's pulling back a little bit.
Doesn't want to drop a scan. He just knows, he knows where it's at. So he's just might drop a scan on it to clear it. Yeah, there it goes. Scans it, gets rid of it, pushes anyways. So see,
Concussive Shell is finishing here.
yep. Which is going to help with those stalkers, help with the zealots, especially if the zealots are going to try to come into surround on the bunkers again before. We'll see what else is coming down. We do see a lot of reactors coming down from Intense, so we're going to see more Marines being pushed out of these bunkers, or excuse me, these barracks. What do you make of that? Just a huge bio push with a few of the tanks.
Yeah, I like it. So basically, you know, he knows that Robo was the tech of choice. He knows those Colossus are going to be coming, so he's just kind of going for whatever he can. Oh, this is a great push.
Oh, they get picked up. What a clutch play from those medevacs, picking up those tanks when they almost got almost got trapped with those force fields.
Yeah, that was beautiful, and it was actually great from OMG Banana because that buys him time. Look at this. This first Colossus has now popped. He's got that big damage dealer finally.
So we do see the tanks on the higher ground. He's able to help push back those zealots a little bit more. Would probably see him in a better position. But
yeah, you know, unfortunately, there is an observer sitting directly over his army.
Yep.
So, you know, OMG Banana knows exactly what Intense is doing. But, I mean, Intense is still up almost 40. There you go, 40 supply now. That third base is done, getting into position. I mean, the economy is really just going to start swinging really heavily in Intense's favor.
we do see Banana trying to push out a little bit. Does get scanned. Sees his entire arm. Sees only one Colossi. Probably is not enough to like over-invest into Vikings just yet. But he wants to keep a count on how many Colossi come out because we saw before that ProKiller lost to a lot of Colossi.
Yeah, honestly, I'd like to see Intense do kind of the new Maru style where you go no Vikings and you just use medevac drops with Marauders to snipe Colossus.
Yep, just boost forward, put him around, and it'll be it'll be interesting to see if he's able to do that. He does snipe that observer. We do have a drop coming in to the natural.
And there's no observer over here to spot it.
But he saw them moving, so he knows it's going to be coming.
Oh, yep. But I mean, this gets fully unloaded.
Yep.
Whole army's going to come up, but Intense still has a big army at the front.
He's going to snipe the upgrade. Snipes the upgrade, got the deny. He's going to move in. Going to try to kite back. Going to focus on all these probes. Great focus fire. Kills almost every single probe.
And the natural is under assault.
Yep. Oh, what a great play. He's going to drop right here as well. Photon overcharge is going to stop this medevacs though.
Oh, he needs to be careful. He's losing some of his medevacs. But I mean, 11 probes died there. Upgrades got canceled.
Yeah.
That was really fantastic for Intense.
Yeah, it was a great play for Intense, and it helps establish that he's going to have his third, while, Houston United Phoenix, Houston United Archon looks pretty cool. But it does draw the Widow Mine.
Still one really good Widow Mine shot does get off, does a lot of damage. I mean, Intense, gave up a lot of army there, but look, he's got another big army moving across the map. He's taking his fourth base.
Yep. And like
he's got another drop coming.
Yeah, like you said before, with him having that third base, it's just his economy is just going to be through the roof. It's going to help him replenish his army so quickly. Well, Banana is just trying to keep up. He can't. He's not doing anything offensive. He's just getting harassed so much by these drops. Another drop comes in. He's going to take out more probes.
Yeah, I mean, he can't afford this. He's got 30 workers, less than 30 workers.
Yeah, he can't do much against that when you have an army of
look, he's trying to bait him back to those Widow Mines.
Oh, look at this.
All the probes.
All the probes. He cannot afford to lose all those probes. Now he's down to 15, 14 workers. And those Marauders in the back are just still taking apart this. Some Zealots are getting warped in, but 11 workers to a 64 supply worker.
32 workers have just
you got another drop coming. And this is going to be, I don't hate to call these things early, but I believe Walnut High School is going to take this Intense game. We'll take game number 4.
OMG Banana's had some really great plays. He's done some great things with his army composition, but Intense, man, once he defended that initial push was the game for OMG Banana. That was his chance.
Yeah, he pushed it. He probably could have done a little bit better. The timing could have been just a little bit better. Didn't have any sentries. He lost them with that Widow Mine. He lost both his sentries. Yeah, so it got spotted.
Being tickled by the sentry.
Yep. But he's going to do the drop anyways. He doesn't want to lose the army supply, even though he is almost tripled the army supply.
Yeah, I mean, he's 100 supply ahead. This is an Intense's game to lose. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not an unwinnable position for OMG Banana, but it's pretty close.
It would have to be, you would have to snipe every single medevac full of every single army somehow. And we've seen it happen in the Pro League before. We have seen medevacs get misplaced and lose entire armies. So we do see Army getting pushed forward. We see a lot of Widowmines with this Army. Benefit
comes the
coming from
drop.
behind with a great flank position, and it's going to completely corner this Colossi. And there goes the Army. It's it's over at this point. There's nothing more he can do.
Yeah, Intense just coming in from all sides.
Walnut High School will take it. So that was it. First series of the semifinals. Walnut High School takes it. Intense and ProGiller takes it 4-1 against Oakton High School. That was a great play. We were expecting some high-end plays from Intense. Intense is known on the circuit. He is on a pro league, or excuse me, a pro team, and has played against professionals. He has taken great games. He took a game off J-Dong one time. So we knew that there were going to be some great plays, and that was just an awesome TVP. And that must have hurt because I know how much you love Protoss.
You know, I do. I'm a Protoss player. I love my Protoss brothers, but I mean, Intense just played that so well. You know, there was that period at the beginning, when that Immortal push was coming, when he looked like he was in trouble.
Yeah.
He was pulling SCVs, he was losing SCVs, but he kept his calm. He didn't overreact, and he responded just right. And man, just held on, took out those Immortals, and with those gone, right? That was a huge investment from OMG Banana. He didn't have his tech to back it up, to carry on from it, and with that, Intense was just able to slowly keep pushing and pushing and pushing.
Yeah, we said earlier when that Army was coming across the Immortal, that Widowmine first spotted the Army and then took out the sentries. So that stops the force fields up, which would have really helped that push. You force field out the bunker so the SVs can't repair it. Intense did lose both bunkers. However, he had tanks in the back kind of melting the Army. As soon as those mortars drop, the Stalkers can't do much against the 6 Marines and that 1 tank. And then from there, it was kind of downhill. He wasn't able to recuperate from such a huge loss. He tried to go into Colossus play, and we saw before that Intense didn't overcompensate. He didn't go Vikings. He just completely ignored the Colossi and just went super Marauders, had the Marines, and just harassed like crazy with those drops. And that was great. Like, no pun intended, but that was intense.
Yep, I do believe we're ready now for an interview with some of our champions here. I see Intense up on the stage, so we're going to kick it over to our wonderful host.
Intense from Walnut High School. So those were a great couple of games, and I just wanted to ask you, what was your plan going into the last game?
I just decided to play safe so that I could get an early advantage through, better mechanics, I guess, and then just take it from there and just go on into the game like that. Really basic, I guess.
Well, it won you the game. So do you and ProKiller practice a lot? Do you do scrims together, or how do you guys really improve yourselves?
When I first teamed up with ProKiller, I think it was Platinum League back in 2013, but we dropped out of 2013 because we didn't have enough time to play the matches. But this year, I coached him, so he got up to Masters League, and he did a lot better. I was proud of his play. He almost beat a Grandmaster Protoss. Definitely an accomplishment for him. Good by him.
That's awesome. Friendship, the biggest strength, right? All right, guys, well, we're going to go ahead and throw it over to a break before we start on our second set of matches for the StarCraft 2 semifinals.